Hey there, Scorpio. This is Seven Scorpion Tarot, and I want to welcome you to tonight's reading. So, tonight we are back on the hero's journey with the crossing of the threshold. And I'm doing things a little bit out of order right now. For some reason, like, I pre record these, like, a couple readings at a time and, like, a couple rune videos at a time. Um, and like this weekend, I didn't record any because I wasn't feeling great. So I was just, resting this weekend. And then I did a couple, I think it was last night or the night before. Um, and I wasn't planning on doing another hero's journey reading for another couple sign specific readings because I had just finished the sign specific reading for Scorpio. And I don't know, I feel really pulled to do this reading. Like once this topic occurred to me, I don't know, I haven't felt like that call to do a reading quite yet. I've been doing things sort of like on a schedule. So I just wanted to follow it, follow the strike of inspiration, as it were. And I think this topic actually also has me a bit anxious just because of the nature of it. So, sort of like how I utilized the meeting the mentor reading for Sagittarius to recount that the personal story of that near death experience that I had with the grand mal seizure and how I came to meet the Mortigan and declare her my patron and everything involved with that. That was a 2 year ago anniversary. So now there's a lot of stuff coming up for a 1 year ago anniversary. And anybody with traumatic experiences understands the difficulty of the first year. And that was a big crossing of the threshold for me last year. There's a lot of things and people in my life I cannot see the same way ever again. And it's because of the way I got treated when I was sick. There's some things that I consider inexcusable, some things that I just flat out don't appreciate. And the first year sucks. First year sucks for anniversaries of like difficult stuff. So I think I'll give a kind of a blanket trigger warning that I'm triggered for sure. And I'm going to be talking about some difficult things because this is like the way this matched up with the zodiac wheel and the Christopher Vogler 12 stages of the hero's journey is on Scorpio on the death card. So that we're going to do a significator reading again, which I'll start flipping through for here to find the death card. But so I want to talk about that symbolism of life, death, and rebirth within that card. As we got into that last time, uh, quite literally with my experience of meeting the mentor. But this year, and unfortunately now my birthday has become this tumultuous thing that is just all these terrible events associated to it now. Uh, so this is the 1 year anniversary of a parent lying to my doctor about me writing an unaliving note while in control of my firearms. And I hate that sentence. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I cannot believe I can say that sentence out loud. And I think it was divine intervention that I just so happened to look at my medical record and see that note between my doctor and my parent about what was discussed, and it wasn't true. Like, not just about this note, but that they were in control of my medication, that we were in contact, and like this, that, and the other thing. We hadn't spoken for a year. We It had been a year since I estranged myself from that parent. And there's no way, even if I had written that, they would have known about it. Like, and how would they be in control of my medication? And just that extra variable of being in control, in possession of my firearm. I don't like those variables. Uh, I'm not willing to, like, there's so much stuff just like swirling in my head about it. Like, I don't want to consider the worst option. Uh, the barest of minimum, lying to my doctor is an unsafe behavior. And that person needs to not be in my life ever again. This is also the 1 year anniversary of me getting diagnosed with these seizures properly. And a part of that was emergency services breaking down my door because I was having a seizure. And doors were already a trigger for me for PTSD. So birthdays aren't super awesome for me anymore. Well, as of right now, at this juncture. So my plan is to have a me birthday this year, like a re-birthday, re-me birthday, because the past couple have been pretty bad. I want to hang out with me and my cat, and I'll get into it more in the details because there's a lot more to this. Uh, just yeah, in the background, because it's a lot. This is a lot, and it's stuff I don't really get to talk about a lot. And so this is going to be a vlog episode. I don't know if anybody's going to watch this or not, but that's all right. I've got some stuff I need to get off my chest because I don't want this to negatively impact my sleep. I want to sleep good. And I find as a ruminator, getting stuff out really helps. And I can only write so fast, and my hand gets like crampy. So, kind of talking into the void here can at least like vent off the steam, vent off the energy, which helps. But interesting that it, like, everything linked up with Scorpio and the crossing of the threshold. Because I was in debate, in significant debate, going into that last reading about whether or not to leave those stories for this reading, for the crossing of the threshold, because of my literal experience in the void. And I just, I don't know, I got the urge to just go forth with that last reading for Sagittarius and meeting the mentor as it went. And then this topic got under my skin. I don't even remember how. Maybe just because it's coming up on the year. Uh, it do be like that, you know. Here we go. Death card. And this is the Murder of Crows tarot. I'm going to have my notes off to the side here to maybe keep my thought train on track, potentially. It might go off the rails. Because this is a not fun story. Like, I don't blame anybody for, like, clicking away. There's a lot. Got my peppermint tea here. But so we'll do that 5 placement. The self, personal shadow, collective unconscious, ego, and persona. And just kind of roll with it. See how we do. So, where to start? Need a good opener after all that. uh, so before I had an appointment with the doctor that got lied to by my parent, I was on a, I think it was like a 7 to 10 day something course of pretty high dose steroids for a migraine cycle that just would not end. Like I want to say a couple weeks prior to uh, the seizure episode that started President's Day weekend. Oh, that's the trigger. Okay, yeah, it is literally like a year. Uh, and because it was that President's Day weekend, I had a trigger related to a domestic violence situation that thankfully I have been out of for some time. And but this migraine cycle, like it's been such a struggle with the flavor of migraines that I get as a result of this like high brain pressure uh neurological condition I have, because the typical like migraine rescue medications don't work for me. Like I just don't get relief from them. They just make me feel weird and bad. Uh and so to try and break the cycle, I take this like high dose steroids because I spent like 5 days in total darkness in my apartment, and in sunglasses at the same time. Like I could not tolerate light. So something had to be done. Like I have to go to work. Like I have to do things. And uh, then it was after that that I experienced this trigger, like right, like one after the other, just 1-2 punch. And then I started having all these seizures. And this was right before they got diagnosed. This was the beginning of the how they got diagnosed. And I followed the doctor that got lied to's recommendations, which were to cease uh, all usage of the Lord's lettuce, including CBD, which is something that increases the seizure threshold. Uh, and then I started taking a prescription that I had done really poorly on a different prescription of the same class. And that class lowers the seizure threshold as well. So no defenses against these seizures. And also, at the time, and still trying to lose weight, but I was consuming a lot of like artificial sweeteners and low fat, whatnot. Since then, since getting diagnosed with these seizures, I made changes to my diet that are more brain friendly for me, for my situation, which in my case is Mediterranean diet with like a keto lean. Not a doctor, don't take recommendations from me, blanket statement, entertainment purposes only, all that. That is just what seems to make my brain happy. And the Mediterranean diet, I like it because I don't have to count calories on it, and I'm losing weight on it, which is great for me, having the not so awesome relationship that I have to food, to not uh, be utilizing like a calorie counter, because I used to get like really obsessive about like macros and the numbers and whatnot. So having a strategy that doesn't rely on that tool is much better for me and my mental health. So all good things. Uh, but the way I was trying to lose weight prior to that was with a calorie counter, with uh, low fat, the artificial sweeteners and whatnot. That I don't know if there's actually a true correlation between seizure disorders and those, but they seem to make my brain spicy, so I just stay away. I think that should be just true of anything. If it doesn't agree with you, like leave it be. But since making those changes, my brain seems a lot happier, and I do not hold back on the CBD anymore. That's for sure. And yeah, it is pricey. It'd be nice if I could put that on my HSA. That would make my life a bit easier. But maybe someday. Uh, I digress. But so there was a lot going on that, like, medicationally wasn't correct for my situation because I wasn't diagnosed properly. And it just, I was really misled by that doctor. I thought they understood uh, what was going on, and it turns out they were just kind of humoring me through the appointment, and completely disregarded my wishes. And there's a big bold note in my chart that says, do not contact this parent for any reason. And then they did that anyway. And I don't know what it takes for grown women for our wishes to be respected. If anybody knows the secret, please, for the love of God, tell me what it is. And so there's all these contributing factors as to like why things went the way they went. Uh, in no short part to me not being treated well, but the thing that always like weirded me out, like, why'd I go back and look at my medical record, like, of the notes from my appointment? Like, I had no reason to. I wasn't waiting on a test, like, I wasn't waiting on anything. Like, why'd I do that? It was just like one of those random things, like, I don't know, like, because I always would get like the post appointment emails, like, you had an appointment, like, you've had something entered in your record, like, cool, whatever. Off to the email graveyard. uh but I went in and I looked through the whole thing, and it was incredibly detailed, about this interaction between my doctor and that parent. And I was flabbergasted. Like, I don't frequently use that phrase. Like, I saw a meme not all too long ago that, like, my gas be flabbered. Like, I like that. I like that one a little bit more. But I was shocked. I couldn't believe like what I was seeing. Like I was having one of those like, is this real? Like, is this a real thing that's happening right now? And of course, like because this type of seizure that I have is caused by psychological stress, I had more. And had my well had my doctor diagnosed me properly, like this could have been all avoided. But had they respected my wishes, that would have not happened. I would have not have suffered that harm. Uh, Hierophant in reverse. Yeah, I lost all faith in the system. Like that was the beginning of the rebirth, the like reawakening of the true self, of all these things that have been tried to been squashed out of me over the years by my family system, by um, some, unfortunately, public education institutions. And oh my God, having access to public education is so important. Like, I can't overstate how important that is. It just, the bureaucracy. Uh, it, it gets in the way of actual education, and it's like public attendance. I don't know. Uh, Somewhere for the children to go while the parents labor. And I trusted these systems, like, to be there for me when I needed them. And like when I contacted the police about this parent is in possession of my firearms and lying to my doctor about me writing an unaliving note and all this stuff, and the answer I got was it's not illegal. Oh my God, what are you guys for? Just to draw a chalk outline? Is that what they're for? Because I got no help for this. I got no help with the romance scammer. I am such an easy target to just be harmed over and over and over again, and I am so sick of screaming into the void of like, what's all this stuff on Instagram about like, if you need help, ask. I'm begging for it from the system. Why won't you respond? Why won't you give me the help I need? Not the, oh, sorry, woman, we're going to pretend like we can't hear you speaking. Sorry that your life doesn't matter because you were born female. Like, oh, I, I don't, I don't know what to do. Like, I mean, the answer was count on myself completely and turn my back on the world, because it turned its back on me, like Lion King. I'm gonna start shuffling for the personal shadow. And there were so many things running through my head at that time because it was such a shock to the system, to the already traumatized system, and not properly diagnosed traumatized system. The more reasonable conclusion was that that parent was having some sort of mental health issue. Ah, like these seizures were not properly diagnosed in that family line's grandmother and my grandma. So their mother, uh, So I don't know, like I don't know what else could be going on. I can't diagnose that. So I called a welfare check. Uh, because way out of my hands, way out of my hands completely. And but the thing that always happened anytime I talk to the police, and then the police talk to that parent, I never hear from them again. So like who do you protect and serve? It's not me. Uh and like I've been fed so many things throughout my life, like we're supposed to be able to trust police officers. Supposed to. Yeah. They're not holding up their end of the deal. This is not trustworthy behavior, what I've experienced. Uh, so I don't know if they were or were not having any kind of mental health issue. Uh, it was out of my hands. I just had to take care of me. There's there's a line, and that is it. Uh, the why I cannot cope with. Uh, yeah, it's pretty bad. And this has left such a deep wound in me. And on top of other wounds that were already there, of the times that teachers went along with whatever my parents said, and nobody questioned like what the heck was going on at home when I was acting the way I was acting. And I've seen this in many other women, like, and this is a blanket statement, generalization for sure, but I keep noticing this pattern of behind every woman, and when I say every, I mean every, like maybe there's some exceptions where I don't have the right context, maybe I'm willing to be wrong, present me with the information, uh that like not anecdotal, I want to see an article, uh but of my own experiences, of things I've seen with my own eyeballs, behind women that are acting hysterical, erratic, whatnot, there's someone doing something. Like, I think a big part of the problem is that the people in power, the people with authority, legitimately think their actions are okay. That's the problem. And those are the people that wrote the book on diagnosing people. Uh, I have begun to question the author more, just in things that I read and hear and whatnot. And a lot of it too is like, the terrible stories we're seeing about how people are getting treated by once beloved authors. And it is an ugly world out there. And in my situation, that parent has like the community vote. They've got the appearance, the perception. I don't possess that. So like nothing I say matters, and I don't understand it. Ooh, Knight of Wands. was going to say Six of Wands. In the shadow. So the messenger of ideas. Well, and that is kind of going with the crossing of the threshold. Like, unfortunately for me, I needed to be like whapped over the head with the wand, like Rafiki in Lion King. Uh, like to get it through my skull of like what I needed to know to keep moving. Uh, but it really took some harsh events in my life to shake me out of an unhealthy family system, just these ideals that I don't actually hold, that were just force fed me, values that were instilled in me by people that just the system works for. So, I mean, my shadow really had to come up and sucker punch me. Be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this was really a Hail Mary pass from the shadow to be like, okay, if this doesn't get your attention, nothing will. I am pretty thick headed, so I get it. Start shuffling for the collective unconscious. Uh, and I mean, like with the Sagittarius meeting the mentor, meeting, reading, not meeting, maybe both. Uh, like I used to earnestly be an atheist. Now I'm a believer. I think that's a song. Is that in Shrek? Maybe. Uh, and it took a near death experience to bring me over to that. I needed to be whapped over the head because anything less than that just wasn't going to work with the circumstances I was in, the way I had been raised, how deeply skeptical I was. And like, there's still a deep river of skepticism in me. And I try to utilize that wisely because it's a good trait to be skeptical. Uh, I just leaned really far into non belief. Uh, and seeing wonder in the world, I like that better. Like the random puzzle piece on the ground, like rather than seeing just a piece of trash, I'm like, oh, what's that mean? Like, what's the puzzle piece that I'm missing? Like it's a sign. There was a TikTok I saw a while back, and it was like, oh, what did she say? She's like, spiritual women to be like having a bad day or whatnot, and then we're like, oh look, an eagle. We're back. Like, I like those days better. Just like looking at the world through that lens of wonder and what are the possibilities. Because everything I came from kind of blows. Like, not gonna lie, it's been kind of a rough ride. So, Seven of Cups in reverse. This is haunting. Uh, so illusion revealed. Like Scooby Doo mask is coming off. uh, seeing the truth of the matter, making a choice. Like, I have picked a side for sure. And, like, the side that I've picked is omnist. Like, I see truth in all religions and reject the idea of one ultimate truth. Like, I don't see any reason for people to believe the exact same thing I believe. Like, we all have our own individual experiences. I'll start shuffling for the ego. Like, who am I to say, like, you must convert? Like, no. You do what you want on your own time. Like, that's your business. Doesn't have anything to do with me. I've got things to do. I've got my own life to live. Like, I don't have all day to be debating with you about what you think. Like, I like to have those discussions sometimes, but like when somebody's just being deliberately, you know, they're trying to have an argument. I'm not interested in having that conversation. And I used to be that way. Like, I used to be really combative. I don't like being that way. Just live and let live. To each their own. And so that was another thing that had occurred to me about, like, what could that parent's motivation possibly be? Hey, kitten. Good morning. uh, like, one of their priorities I had noticed growing up was like maintaining the family image. Like, are they so concerned with maintaining image that they would do something that could potentially leave me institutionalized? Apparently. Uh, and that's a massive threat to my safety. Like, it's a threat to my autonomy. It's my threat to me being able to keep a job. Like, all of this stuff. And no, it might not be illegal for a parent to lie to a doctor, which, if not, why not? That should be illegal. Um, did that doctor break any laws by violating my wishes? I don't know. Because, like I had said in a previous reading, like, this experience with the healthcare system has made it very, very clear to me how much of a business they are. Hey, kitten, welcome to the table. And their main concern is dodging liability. It's not doing right by me, as evidenced by how they handled my grievance that I filed. Uh, Part of that agreement was getting me an appointment with a female doctor as opposed to the male doctor that I was seeing. Because I just, like, you can have your preference for doctors. I don't need to justify that. And they didn't give me that. They gave me an appointment with an LPN. I had specific questions that I needed to talk to an MD about. And it's my right to have that. Like, that was part of the agreement, that was their promise. And they failed, and they didn't take my grievance seriously. And there's just no avenue of recourse for a pleb like me that doesn't have lawyer money. Like, what good is a justice system if you cannot engage with it? And if what that parent did was not illegal, how do I get a restraining order against them? Like, what are these cracks we're seeing? I don't know. I cannot be the only person that's fallen through the cracks like this. There's no way. The system is so broken. It's probably more like a crevasse than a crack. Uh, but like, what do you do when you need help? You don't get help. I still need help. Like, I've suffered health, emotional, psychological, physical, financial, like the all the damages that I've suffered for this, like it blows my mind that there is just not an avenue of recourse for me to pursue. Like the patient advocates are internal to the organization. Just flipped right on patient advocates in nightmare. Okay, the nightmare card. And I've never actually engaged those. I think I tried to get a hold of one once. Okay, can we? Excuse me. Uh, I don't think I ever heard back. So, I mean, that's not promising. Uh, you can't, like, that's only one interaction, but I'm sure there are other people with that experience. Uh, the whole thing is just a nightmare. Like, and somebody to do that to somebody who's already living with PTSD, like on both the doctor and the parents' part. Like, they both knew about it. This is not new information. Like, that doctor was the one that diagnosed me with it. My parent knew about it, got irritated with me about having it. Super cool, super weird too. Uh, like, why am I this punching bag for people? And I've extracted myself from all of these situations, and in a shocking turn of events, getting away from everybody in my life is what helped me get better, and stopping seeing that doctor. uh why am I the only person suffering consequences for this though? Like, it should not be this way. Like, what if the patient's advocate are only internal to that organization, the one that did me harm, the one that's trying to dodge liability, and I can't afford a lawyer? Who do I go to? This system is so broken. uh it's outrageous to me that you have to have money to matter. And even then, like, that's not enough. Nope. That's the persona I'm shuffling for. Uh, but looking forward, I want to have a me birthday. That wanted to jump out. I'm going with this one. So I am gonna watch my favorite movie, Princess Mononoke, and I think I'm gonna get sushi. Something. It's a little early to plan the meal, uh, but it's fitting. It's like a theme. Uh, make an evening of it. Me and my cat, and because most of this I went through alone. There were brief bits of help that I got here and there. Um, I went through 99% of it alone. And I want to spend my birthday by myself as a result. Like, I just want time alone. I want me time. I want to do my thing. Uh, I've got plans to redo my altar, and I think I am going to get that septum ring. I talked about it in another reading. I think that'll be something shiny and nice for myself that I'll do. And it's going to be my like rebirth day because this is a threshold I cannot uncross. Uh, the intense amount of personal work that not just this 1 year ago, but the 2 year ago anniversaries have led to is absolutely incredible. And I need to let off the gas a bit. This is too much for one person. Ace of Wands. Yeah, it's a good idea. uh, so maybe something new, like a septum ring. Uh, that'll be what's presenting to the external world. But I think the thing that's presenting really to the external world is my confidence. That's definitely a lot higher than it used to be because after going through this much stuff alone, it's kind of hard not to be, you know? Like, and it makes me sad, like, how much of it I've shouldered by myself. I think that's not something people should have to experience, but it's the cards I got dealt, so it's the cards I'm going to deal with. And it was just like a really hard lesson in how much I can count on myself, you know? Ooh, I don't know how to pronounce that. Mm, kind of a forlorn, not forlorn, troublesome scene. Let's see what the book says. And this is the Call of the Morrigan Oracle. Who Culane? I am not up to snuff on my Irish pronunciations. Um, okay, so this is the first in the Otherworldly Guides suit. Keywords: arrogance, blindness, and illusions. So Colon stands over a fallen foe. While the boy dies at his feet, he is filled with regret, realizing the boy is his son, Conla. The Ogham Cert is engraved on his sword. This Ogham is connected to madness and misfortune. Cuchulainn, I'll get it eventually, Cuchulainn arrogantly chooses honor over reason. Cuchulainn has had a child with Aoife, the sister of his mentor, the warrior woman, Skaha. When he left, these pronunciations, man, when he left Skaha's island, he told her to have the boy find him in Ireland when he was old enough. He also places 3 prohibitions on the boy. Once he started on his journey, he could not turn back. He couldn't he could tell no man his name, and he could not refuse a challenge. When Conla sets out to find his father, he is challenged by the Ulster men. Cuchulainn defends Ulster against the stranger who refuses to give his name, and kills the boy with a special spear throw taught to him by Skaha. As the boy is dying, he tells Cuchulainn that the spear throw was the one thing Skaha did not teach him. Cuchulainn then realizes the boy is truly his son. Interesting. That kind of plays into like what is that parent's deal, and like do they need to maintain the family image that bad? Like honor over reason? Like, I'm not one to be able to maintain pretenses anymore. Like, I just can't. And that definitely seemed like that parent's priority is just like the perception, the image, the this, the that. The thing I care about is if I'm happy, if I'm well, if I'm healthy. That's what matters to me. And that threshold is not one I can uncross. I've been conditioned from such an early age to just disregard my needs, my wants, in the interest of emotionally immature parents that they failed me. Ooh, okay. Here we go. Looks like we've got a song and an activity, so some self care. Maybe for just me, if I'm the only one still here. So, frozen pizza and a movie night, and 46 and 2 by Tool. I saw a really cool, it's like an AI video. I bet it's like the top result now, looking it up on YouTube. Really perfect imagery for the song. A lot of snake imagery in there, and of course, frozen pizza and movie night. I'm trying to think of the last movie I put on the list. I will never get through. What was it? Or what do I want to watch, rather? Because I've already got the plans for Princess Mononoke for my birthday, so I've got to pick something else. Uh, Could do another Studio Ghibli, like Spirited Away. That one's really nice. Stick with the anime theme maybe and do Ghost in the Shell. And I think I have a margarita pizza in the freezer, so pretty well set for this activity. So hopefully, uh, if you don't have frozen pizza readily available, it's easy enough to acquire. But overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates. And if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thanks so much.